So we are most definitely lost right now. But it's all good. It's all good. We are touring the map. May as well be a map tour video. Just change the title. New series / map tour. Yeah, this is not our farm. Nope. We're paying for that wall. Oh, now I'm having the bloody door. There we go. Okay, we are nearly there. You can tell I'm not used to the Xbox control anymore because my steering's all over the shop. Here we go. Here is the farm. So, just see me coming back. So this is the first field I mentioned. I haven't actually looked at it yet. So again, it's been harvested recently from the looks of things. Again, I've done no precision farming yet. I've got no soil samples or anything. It's all just base game currently. So that's something we can work on in the future. So yeah, pretty large field again. We've got the telegraph pole going for the middle. So lots of things we can do with this in the future. Let's just jump in here. I have changed a few things on the farm. Not through the giants out there, just on in-game, which is why it took me quite a while to set up. So you may notice things might be different if you do download the map and play it at some point. There are very subtle changes, but yeah. So this field here, we don't own. It's not part of ours. So here we are. This is the cow farm. Not just dairy, we've got beef cows as well. So I'll give you a quick tour of this one if you haven't seen it before. So here, I mean, you have the main farmhouse here, which again, if you want a bit of a roleplay series, you know, this is a farm that we lease out, or it's another part of the family who live here, and we come up and just help out, do the work when we've got time from the main farm. So that's the main farmhouse, just behind me there. There isn't much you can do with this. You can't enter any of these sheds. It's all literally as it comes. You'd have to go into giant editor to remove things. So if I want to take this car out, for example, I'd have to do that separately. Nothing around the back, just loads of junk essentially. No chickens in this house either, but it's a very large, nice house. Get a little flag pop up there, put in. So we'll start on the main farm. So we've got 20 cows. So we've got 20 Holsteins and 20 brown Swiss. So this is the main barn here. Quite like it. It's a very realistic looking UK barn. It's not too modernised. It's not too old. It's very what you see on a lot of videos on YouTube and cattle barns and so on. So I think it is quite a nice conversion they've done here. It's not, you know, it suits what I like most. Water here, I had to put in a little water tap there because unlike the previous edition, you had global company, the water was plumbed in. This one here, there's not one yet, so I just refill that and then straight into that one there. Just saves a lot of time. We've got here some manure. Feed wise, I've topped them up with some TMR and some hay and grass, a little bit, not too much, and the straw is full. So we are at the back end, we are low on supplies and feed, which is why we got a lot of work to do. And again, just an empty bit there. I'll show you the field. So they got an open pasture. This is why I really like the maps. They got built-in fields into the ranches. Playing American maps too much. Into the barns is because they're realistic. You know, the cows can go out. They can go out and graze. They can and then they come back into the indoor area, which is nice. It's a nice touch, as opposed to just having those little small pastures you get, the small fences. So yeah, as you can see, nice grass field. I've got the mod for field harvest. I'm not sure if they're going to use it or not. Probably whether it will work. I haven't got Maize Plus installed yet. I do want to install Maize Plus, but I've got the grazing mod installed. I think because their feed is full, this won't go down until all of that's empty. So we'll have to trial that. It does say in the mod description it doesn't work on the base game pastures. You have to use, I believe, if you plough the field in and plant it, which this field technically has. So it will be interesting to see this if they graze. It's nice to know as a last resort if I ever get to feed them or we don't feed them in time. So it's a pretty large field, you know, 20 cows, got a lot of space here, and it's quite nice for them, and they can go in and out the farm. So it's a nice touch. I really like this map. Okay, we'll move out then. So that's pretty much it really, it's just the cattle barn. Over here, all of this is not usable, so the grains and so on, these aren't in service, it's just decorations. So in here, we've got the main sort of feeding yard tools. So we've got a little Renault 96 tractor here. So this is mostly our sort of yard tractor, small engine, very small, and simple IC installed just for the doors only. So it's quite small, very old, it just blends in naturally to the surroundings, I think. Quite an old farm. We've got 2 feeders, so here's the old one. This is what we've got here. There's a Metal Tech, very small mixer, and then we've just got a new one as well, which we're trialing at the moment. So brand new. I believe it's a German company. Don't quote me on that. So we're going to trial both. Good news is we can have one mixing and we can have one feeding. So to take, because they're quite small, there'll be a lot of refills. So again, hopefully we can utilise our time a bit better using 2. A little Massey Ferguson loadall here. Very nice little design. It's just very worn, as you can see, very used and dirty. But for the yard, it's ideal really for what we need. We don't need a massive one like the other yard for the JCB we've got. So we'll just turn it on. Got the weight on the back, so hopefully it doesn't tip over like a lot of them do. And nice little fan on the back as well. Very nice touch there. And then we've just got a bucket for the manure and the silage and so on, and a little hay fork there. So this is the main sort of feeding area, call it, or yard storage. And then over here we've got placed in this fuel tank here. I mean, this blends in quite naturally to the surroundings again. It's even in English as well. I thought it was another German mod, but there we go. So it almost looks like it was part of the map. There was one actually placed already, a base game one over there somewhere, but I just removed that and placed mine in. There should be a truck parked here. I forgot to purchase it. So there's a little cattle truck which will park here for transporting the cattle to and from different fields or to market. In here, this is where we're going to have our main storage area for the bales. So we've got a lot of fields, a lot of grass work, so we'll have all the silage bales and all the grass and the hay all stacked up in this area here, which is what we'll be doing shortly. And then over here you have the silage, sorry not silage, slurry pit. So again, pretty empty. I've given them enough feed. I've skipped it forward 1 month only, so it's not full yet, and eventually that will fill up over time. And how it will work is we can both the farms will support each other. So this farm can provide manure and slurry to the other farm, and then again that will save a lot of money in the long run for fertilizer. So there'll be a lot of transportation to and from each farm. We can provide cows, or we can provide slurry, and the other farm can provide some of the big equipment if needed. In here we have the manure heap extension. So this is a grain storage built into the map. Again, we've got no grain up here currently, so I just thought why not repurpose this old shed here into the manure pit. You can see the grain as the mod there, but yeah, it does fit in literally bang on, perfect almost. So it was a nice addition. So we do get a manure spawn here. There's a tiny bit just there, look, spawn in, which we can use to our benefit. And then over here we've got another addition to the farm. It is a mini BGA. So in here we've got all of our grass work, essentially all of our field grass. So we've got 2 mowers, fairly new mowers. Okay, this is where we spent the most recent purchase. Okay, we've got a lot of grass work. We need good mowers for this grass. We can't cheap out on the mowers. So I've got 2, one Kuhn and one John Deere. They're quite small, but we've got enough tractors to get one attached to each one, with a deferred tractor following up with the tedder. Again, a little Fendt tedder here. Again, not too big, not too small as a mod. Class, Roland to rotor cut, a small baler here, again, perfect size for what we need. And then we've got another one, another class windrow here for the grass. This is our main tractor for up here, so this is probably going to be the most used one, so it's got the most horsepower I believe, and it's also the most modern tractor we've got. The other ones are pretty old, and this will be our go-to up here, okay, mostly in the fields, and then the run out is going to be for the yard mostly. Now what we have here is we have our own built-in BGA facility, so I think it blends in quite nicely to this environment. I believe it's from Disturbed Simulations, this one. So mini BGA, and we are, you know, it's quite popular these days. I listen to a few podcasts about farming, and a lot of farmers are now getting their own on-site BGAs so they can process their own waste essentially and make money from it. So it pays the electric bill, goes into the grid, or they can repurpose it for the Digistate, which is a pretty nice touch. It's currently empty, no production's currently going, so it's, again, it's not a modern one, it's fairly, you know, run down, it's a little bit dirty, so I think again it just blends in nicely into this map. Almost looks like it should be part of it. And then before there was two massive bunkers here, which there is literally two side by side, and then they'll be from essentially here, and there's one here, and they go all the way up to here, so it leaves pretty limited space. So I thought I've repurposed it, and I've put in my own ones. I found this little mod. Again, we've got the tyres and the bags there, and I think these three here just fit nicely because the amount of silage, we weren't doing silage too much. It's mostly going to be baling at the start, but it's nice to have these three little ones we can use in the future. And again, old and worn down, just blend in nicely into the environment. So what we'll do now is I'm going to head down and I'll show you the main fields. Here we go then. In fact, I missed something. There's more. There's more, folks. Up here, very tight parking. Okay, we've got a third tractor. Again, this is the most powerful. Actually, I think this is 150 horsepower along those lines. Again, simple IC enabled, just for the doors, I believe. I'm not sure if you can do the back window. So this would be our sort of backup tractor really. If we've got a lot of heavy load, if we start doing silage, we can use that to tow the trailers, or we can use it down at the other farm if necessary. We can use it at both farms. And it's just nice to have a backup tractor as well, where we can do the baling, or we can follow up another tractor, or if we've got workers out in the field and we need stuff to do in the yard, we can do extra duties as well. Now here we have our own dairy production facility. So it's quite a small little mod, but we can produce here is our own milk, butter and chocolate, I believe, and cheese. So our main focus is going to be probably the cheese and the butter production with the things we make. So I made use of this little thing here because it's quite tight to manoeuvre in here anyway. So yeah, we'll see how this goes on. There's no visual things inside, you can't see inside. I looked at some mods for the bigger ones, but they were just, even though they looked naturally for the environment, they were just a bit too big to fit on this barn without doing any, again, editing on the giants to remove, say, this thingy here. I've got a mod here, auto pallets. I need to figure out how to actually get them to work. I'm not sure if it will distribute from here automatically onto the shelves for extra storage, so we're not waiting here to move things. But again, we'll discover that as we go on. So that's the farm itself. So we'll show you the fields now. Again, another little track. I really like these little tracks they put into the map. They just look so much more natural than making your own. So here we go. Lots of gates on this map, so get used to opening and closing gates. But I'll turn on super speed just one more time, just so we can get over and do the fields a little faster. Turn it down slightly though, because 6 is quite fast. So here's one grass field, pretty much. There's much to say really. And then, even though there's 2 gates in, they are linked together, but they are 2 separate fields. So you can see field 41 there and field 42 there. So I'm not sure whether to put a little fence in and make an extra gate. It makes sense that there's a gate down there to separate them, Or I'm not even sure if I use the real mirror mod, if this hedge will even survive. Ideally, I'd rather just get rid of the hedge and I just have one large field. But we'll see how that goes. And again, a pretty steep hill really, so the Ford will come in useful for this, the extra horsepower getting up this hill with the mower and other equipment, whereas the other ones are a bit smaller. They're probably going to struggle a little bit on this hill, which is why we got the third tractor in there. So we'll head down, and again this is fenced off. It's one of our fields again. I mean, ideally you want just this fence removed if necessary and have one large opening. I left the other gate open, but it will be okay. We'll close those later. There's no livestock in there, and this is just another track onto the field. Field number 3. We have, again, we've just seen it essentially. Not too bad size. Potential for some sheep potentially, if not other animals. That's all I can say about that really. Just, I suppose, just a field. And then we come down the road here. Again, I didn't really want to buy this many fields, but they come as a package, so we are stuck with them. Yep, this is mine. So I'll just go up to the top. Again, a bit of an incline. It's not as steep as the other one, but it's still going to take its toll on the tractor. Is this ours as well? Yes, so this is also ours. I believe this is not ours though, so they've got access into our field. Max is a Witcher then, Max Watcher. So this gate needs to stay closed. So yeah, grass, this one was growing actually. It was just ploughed in on the initial start, which is why you can see it's growth stage 2 and not complete. So pretty large fields really for grass. But with our small equipment, we've got small balers and we've got small tedders, so it's going to take a long time to actually process these. And again, this field, is there another gate to this field? There isn't, no. So we would need to give access to our neighbour through our land. Okay, we're trying to cut myself. There we go, hop over there. Okay, next fields. There is more. So again, we own, this is not actually a registered field, this is like the back end of the farm. I need to put in a fence here. There really should be a fence along this wall here. I don't think the trees will stop the cows. I suppose I can't go much further than this, but hey ho. So, just come on the front here. Again, this is a field. This is classed as a field, this section here. Which is, again, nice to have. And this track, ideally, would have a gate here. And we'll have a track leading up to the farm. So if we need to move cattle from the big field up to here, we could lead them down the track, in theory. So we'll head down now. So that's not our field down there, that is a neighbour's field. And then what we have here is a small little well which we've put in just to make it a bit easier to get water to and from the fields to fill up the troughs, because obviously it's a very small tanker, it'll be a lot of trips going back and forward. So I've just put that one in there, it's not too bad. And then the final 2 fields, we'll close this gate because the cows are on the run, is our beef cattle fields. So milkers are up in the main barn or farm, and then we've got the beef field here. This one's growing. Again, this was also ploughed in. So I put this little track in just up to the centre, and then I've got the only mod that I could find that wasn't tiny is the Elk Mountain open pastures, which is a humongous cow one. So luckily we've got 2 fields and it spreads over the 2 of them, and I don't know where the marker's gone. Let's see if I can find it. I probably won't be able to find it now. Let me just turn on the triggers quickly, if it even shows. There we go, that's not it. Okay, well the trigger I cannot find, so never mind. I like about this Elk Mountain one actually is because they're quite small icons and they appear when you come close. But essentially, I'll just jump up here, it spans the whole field. so it goes into both fields. So it just looks natural. It looks quite like the cows are meant to be in the field without a pasture being there. Obviously, got the trowel in the middle, and then I believe it stretches all the way up to around about this marker here, and doesn't leave an outline either. Some mods you place down, it adjusts the landscape and adjusts all of the grass and so on, changes colour, or it goes to soil. But this one just places it down quite naturally. So again, we've got 20 cows. We've got 10 Angus cows, and we've got 10 limousines. So not too many, not a crazy amount. So it's enough for now. And if we do go Maize Plus in the future, we don't want, you know, hundreds of cows, because that would just be far too much consumption on the food. So yeah, that's it there. 2 fields, and again, hopefully we can test out the grazing mod, see if they actually graze this grass when the food runs out. We'll see how that works. I've topped up the trowel here again, so bit of food, bit of water, and I think this mod must have an update, because on Elk Mountain, I'm sure I haven't seen the milk option, whereas here there's a trigger to fill up the milk, but obviously they are beef cows, so they won't be milking down here. And then down here, I was thinking, obviously in the winter, the main area is going to be for the milkers, okay? So I threw in this extra little barn here, essentially, which will move them into throughout the winter. So they can produce manure, they can produce slurry, but they can't do it in the open field. Essentially, they would probably, like, you know, fertilise the field, but it doesn't have that on the game just yet. It'd be a lovely mod if it did. Cow fertilisation, if they fertilise the fields for you, and you can move them into a different field then, and then you could plough that field in for whatever. But we'll make do with what we got. I'll just turn off these markers again. So down here we have the bull. Obviously the bull's in there by himself currently. We don't want him out there by himself all year round, because I'll have cows everywhere. And then a bit of bedding in there for him. I put in this heap extension here. The ones I found are all 90-degree turns, and none of them would go the angle I wanted them at. So this was the best I could get, the one at the angle. So again, the bull's going to produce some manure throughout the year, and then in the winter, when we get all 20 cows in, that should start filling up with quite a nice amount of manure with the extension. And we've also got the slurry pit here as well, so they'll produce slurry, I think. Yeah, so slurry, 6 litres down there. So again, plenty more source of fertiliser or income. Or worst case, we can feed it into the BGA, and we can produce electricity and get some waste product back from that. So that's the thing I found with some mods, is that they don't always allow the manure, unless it's got a straw option. You don't get manure and slurry and so on. So like the Elk Mountain series, the horse pastures, there's only 2. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 mods that work that give you slurry, or not slurry, manure as an extension, whereas a lot of them don't give you manure without additional mods. So it's nice that I've got this option here. And again, it's not a modern build, it's a fairly old looking barn or shed, cow shed, self-made cow shed is called. So again, I think it just blends in quite naturally into the environment and the surroundings. So I'll just jump up again. You can see here, so a track up there, and then a little track going down. And again, this field isn't ours. So that's the cows. We've got 20 beef cows and our bull in the middle there, munching the food to himself. I'll just pan over. So again, this field here is a ploughed in field, seeded grass. This is not. So in theory, the cows could come into this wood block here, a set of trees, and roam. But I think we'll be sensible, and I think we'll get a contractor in, and we'll get some fencing put around this area here. And then this field here is also ours. I won't run down to it, but you get the gist. It's another grass field, but again, it makes sense to have it because the track goes down right through our farm, and then this comes all the way up to here. I think this will be our main silage field when we start doing silage, I think, because it's quite large. We've got access, big access in, so if we need to get the combine in to do some foraging, we can get combines in here, whereas you'd have to go through the farm or else to get in through this small little gap here, and then down this narrow track if that was fenced off. that was previously blocked off, but now I can get through, I suppose. So yeah, this is the farm. Again, this field is not ours just yet. These ones are, these two here. This big one here is ours, and of course this one here is ours. These ones here are not ours, okay? So again, they have got access through those gates over there, and there's also access into our field here, but most likely I expect they'll just go through these ones here, and then these do not belong to us. And back to where we started. Here we are. So that is the tour complete. As I mentioned, we've got 4-day seasons on, so I think what we'll do is, what we're going to do today is we'll head down to the main farm, and we will do the harvest of the sorghum, which I believe is the next thing ready for harvest. And then again, we've got 4 days in September to get through the harvest and get the cows topped up. So how we'll work it is, obviously 4-day seasons, essentially one day is going to be 1 week in real time, so we can skip through some months and days. We'll probably just skip ahead a month or two, because there was not many things we can do. Although the reason I got two farms is so there was always going to be work to do. Okay, we've got plenty of field work we can do, and plenty of grass work, and eventually we can do some silage, get more animals, get some sheep if we wanted to, become a sheep farmer. So pretty lot of options really. Money's not too bad, it's not too low, but it is going to be tight. We haven't got really any money to buy any new equipment, at least brand new. There might be a couple of things I've missed to add in, which I'll probably need to add in at some point. But for now, I think we are in a good position. So what I'll do, I will jump in the Land Rover and we shall head down to the main farm. I won't save you, I'll save you the trouble this time. I won't let you follow me and get lost again. I'll meet you down there. Hi everyone, yeah, so as I mentioned in the end of the last video, this is part 2 of the original framing I done. So again, it was about a 50-minute episode, and then this is going to be part 2, and then the next part will be episode 3, which will be back on track then. So we'll do the harvest, and then from that point it will be just normal episodes as always. Once again, sorry for the inconvenience, it's just down to my editing software. I just didn't like the export because of the large file size, I believe. So again, after editing the next episode, we'll be back on track. Thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.